Hey guys, welcome. I am so thrilled to be doing a second vlog. So, honestly, I made the first one and I was thinking, you know what? This is fairly easy and I don't think that I mind doing it more often, so I'm doing another vlog. And I was thinking that I'm going, like I was trying to decide, so what am I doing with my vlogs? But then I enjoyed the cleaning, and so I'm like, I don't think that I'll just be doing cleaning, but for now, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of cleaning, especially because my room does need quite a bit of cleaning. I obviously could help my mom with some of the cleaning around the house as well, so I'm thinking I'm going to do quite a bit of that. So there'll be a lot of cleaning in this vlog. Today, I am going to do some of the blinds in the kitchen because you know that I told you guys that I'm just one of those people that's like, I'm not going to do everything at once because I don't want to overwhelm myself. So, like the last time that I did the blinds, I honestly did all the blinds in the house and it made me feel so overwhelmed. The experience just left me going, I am not doing this blinds again unless someone is paying me. And I guess that would be my parents, right? But now I figured if I just do a few of them at a time, I will not feel as miserable by the time I'm done with them because it's easy to clean the blinds, but it's so tedious and so annoying. So when you are not used to doing it on a regular basis, it's honestly not even the work that annoys you, but how tedious the work is. So I'm just going, oh my God, here I am. Let me just keep working. But then, like it's so repetitive and so annoying. So I'm going, I have to do it in small doses at a time. So I'm going to do some of the kitchen ones today. I am also going to prepare a lovely meal that a friend of mine taught me how to make. I miss her so much, and I was thinking, you know what? I will actually make this meal just as a way to, I don't know, just as a way to re-experience some of the lovely times that we have had together. She moved to a different country, so I don't see her as often, which is why I am missing her so much. Otherwise, I just see her all the time. But anyways, I'm going to make fish. That is what she taught me how to make. My mother makes a lot of fish as well, so I know a few fish recipes. But this one is it's like a blend of something new and a blend of, like some of the things that my mom makes as well. So I am absolutely thrilled to show you guys that recipe. So that's why I chose that one, because I feel like it's a fusion of my friend and my mother, because my mother does make a lot of fish and we eat a lot of fish. So I'm like, oh, I am super thrilled to put this meal together. I am also going to do my nail polish because I'm like, oh, you need to redo your nail polish. I'm going to clean up a little bit in my room. I'm going to do some of the bathroom. Like I'll clean the bathtub and I'll clean the sink and the toilet as well. And I am so thrilled to get these things done. So you guys come along with me and let's have a good time. And one of these days we'll make it out of this room and get out there and go shopping. And I'm so thrilled for that. What I'll start with is I am going to do some of my laundry. I like to do laundry on a regular basis because I don't know about you, but for myself, I have lots of clothes, but I'm still obsessed with just a few of them. So there's a lot of clothes in my closet that I do not wear on a regular basis, but then there's just those few pieces that I'm just like, I am going to wear this one until it's just going, can't you pick on someone else? And I'm like, no, I cannot pick on someone else because you are the one that I love. So I'm going to pick on you. Aye. So there I go. going to start with my big, lovely blue pillow. I love it so much. It's so huggable. It's so, like, it makes my sleeping experience so lovely. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop this guy up in the laundry, and I'm going to pick out some of the other ones that I'm going to do next. I just put my pillow in the washer, and now I'm going to pick out my other laundry. My closet is a bit messy, but honestly, that is an area that I'm not going to touch on right now, especially because I'm not ready to get it all completely cleaned up. So I'm just doing my laundry. I'm thinking maybe I'll soak in my whites as well, but I don't know if I'll manage to get all those things done by the time I'm finishing to film this vlog, but I'll let you guys know. And like some of the things I'm like, oh, I want to do everything, but then I'm like, you can't do everything, girly. You have to pick the things that you're going to do. And so I am picking the things that I'm going to do, and that is the laundry right now, and then I'm going to mop my floor. By the way, I guess I mopped my floor. I honestly did not mop it again. I only mopped it once this week. So this is exactly why I'm like, would I like to sit on my floors? I'm like, no. So the goal is to start mopping them 3 times a week. And then at that point, I will feel like, oh, it's okay if I sit on this floor because these floors are squeaky clean or squirty clean, whatever it is. Sometimes I say things and I'm like, did that sound correct? And it's like, no, it did not. But you know what? I am not an English teacher, so I'm not going to obsess with it. I'll just let it be. If I was an English teacher, however, maybe I would be too worried. But seeing that I need my English just to communicate to my family and regular everyday people, I won't obsess with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go pick up the stuff from my closet that I'm going to use for laundry. Suddenly I see. I'll take this. These ones will go in. You, my friend, you sit over here. This is like me organizing my closet as well, because sometimes when I come back from like doing something, I'm like, should I put everything away immediately? I'm like, it's not happening. I'm home, I feel tired, so I'm just going to take it easy. Looks like I'm going to wash the blues today because I have, like, for the most part, a whole bunch of the blues, and I was going to wash some of my pinks too, but then I'm like, I would not dare mix blues and pinks, right? Because those will not mix too well should, like the blues bleed, right? And so I'm like, I am only doing some of the blues. I popped in one of my orange ones, but now I'm thinking I probably will just, not put it in there because that was one of the first ones that I picked, but I guess there's too many blues in there. So as much as I don't wear it very often, I do not want it to get mixed up in there and have blue on it. As I said, I am going to do the blinds as well, so I'm just going to take it slow and I'm going to do 1 or 2 at a time. And so I am going to work on this one because this one was one of the ones that I was looking at and I was thinking, oh, this is looking so greasy and it's looking so dirty, so I am going to work on this one. going to use this chair because some of these parts are so high. I'm like, oh my god, I need to be reaching that high. So I cannot reach that high, like I can reach that high, but not comfortably, especially for the activity that I'm doing. Like I stated last time, I really do not enjoy washing these blinds because the work is quite tedious. It's especially worse when there is grease and dust on the blinds, right? Because when it's just dust, it's like, oh, that's easy to clean, I can easily get that done. But when you add dust on, when you add grease on there as well, it's like, oh my god, I need my muscles. Right? So I'm like, oh my god, I actually am working a whole, like, that was so annoying and so hard, but I'm so glad that I got it done. This one is the hardest one to do, but it's now done. And so I have, like the rest of the house left, but those ones are not difficult because they are not greasy. So guys, sometimes I go and get my nails done professionally, right? And I don't know, like lately I've just been going, it's so expensive. It's so expensive for me to go out there and get my nails done by someone else. So I go, oh, maybe I'll just go back to doing my nails by myself, right? And so I have been doing that. I don't mind it. I'm actually loving it quite a bit. The only difference is, I guess, like you get the chipped nails because usually when I go and get it done professionally, I get shellac nails. But then, honestly, I generally do not mind it, so I am going to do my nails. I'm going to redo my nail polish, and I don't know, lately this is my favorite color, although I'm so obsessed with pink. And you know what? This whole thing of doing my nail polish in bed is like, oh, I don't know. It's not very easy or exciting, but then I figured that since I have this book here, it will make it a little bit easier, and it should be able to help me to have a bit more of a flexible time doing this. I'm not going to cut my nails because the last time that I did my nails, I did cut them, and honestly, I don't know about you guys, but my nails, especially my toenails, do not grow very fast, and I think that is the case for most people. So it's getting cold outside, and so when I think about cutting my nails, it's mainly because I'm going to be wearing like more closed shoes now rather than open shoes. So that is more like, oh, you really need to be thinking about that in terms of the length of your nails, because then if you're wearing your closed shoes with super long nails, you can hurt your feet. Right, so that's one thing I have to keep in mind. And so I'm like, I could cut my nails, but I feel like that would be too much, especially because I did cut them already, so they already are quite short. Summertime is when it's like, oh, let me have my toenails being, like long and having them look, like lovely and elegant in like flip-flops or other open shoes. I'm the only one who like insanely loves the smell of nail polish, because I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I love the smell of nail polish. Like, when I was younger, I would just sit and inhale the smell of nail polish. Like, I'll just open it and I'm like, it smells so good. That happened very fast and I'm liking that. I am not going to sit for a long time, but I think I'll wait for a few minutes and let it dry a tiny little bit. And then I'm going to keep going with my next thing. I guess I think this is more like a maroon. It's not a red. It's more like a maroon. Ay, 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 ay. So, after spending a little bit of time slacking off and just enjoying my day, I am now going to go and clean my bathroom. And yeah, so like I'm cleaning the sink and I'm cleaning the toilet and I'm also cleaning the bathtub. I'm thinking that this should be a super fast process because I'm not doing like a deep clean in there. I'm just doing like a light clean, so just the basics, the sink, the toilet and the bathtub, because I want them to just look clean when I look at them. Otherwise, it's like, oh my god, my bathroom is not looking that great. And you know what? That is very unfeminine. But then the truth is, I honestly, I'm not judging anyone, because for myself too, I have lots of days when my bathroom is just not looking, like that great. But that's why we're on this channel, right? Because we're working on those things together and we're working on, oh my god, do you guys have any suggestions of what I can do to be even more feminine, to stand out more, right? And so this is just simple everyday femininity. I am not, I don't know, because I'm all for simplicity, and I genuinely a huge believer of the fact that the feminine is just taking it easy, doing things in a relaxed manner, but also just being that you're actually living in an environment that is pleasing or pleasant, right? So you have to make your environment look as good as possible, so that when you walk into your room, for myself, since I'm now trying to be self-sufficient and not use too much of my parents' space, I'm it's my room, so when I walk into my room, I'm like, oh, I am loving this space. It makes me feel good. It smells good. It's looking clean, and to the best of my ability, I put in the effort to make this space look clean. And the truth is, it does not make me feel stressed. It makes me feel relaxed when I walk into this room that I've put together for myself. I feel so relaxed, right? So right now I'm going to clean the bathroom, I'm going to clean some of the areas, and just, yeah, because I'm really looking forward to it looking clean for this whole week. And so I go, you have to clean yours as often as possible. I honestly, these are things that I'm working on, and so that's why I'm talking to you guys about them. So let's go together for this journey. Okay, so that task is finished, and I'm now going to move on to the next task. I have to turn off that light, because otherwise, as you saw, the lighting was quite horrible when I had this light on, because I guess now I'm having lights coming from this side and lights coming from this side. And so it's like, like you have two conflicting things that have the same, I guess, power. And then it's like, oh, I think I'll turn this one off so that we're heading this way. At least for the light. So now I'm going to go and clean the toilet bowl and the bathtub. I am now going to clean my bathroom. I love my bathroom. I guess my mom recently did some renovations in here. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's like my mom that is into like, she's the one that's into doing like a whole bunch of upgrades around the house. But then I feel like that is with most households, like it's the mother that's like, oh, let me get spaces looking bougie. Whereas my dad is more like just a relaxed one. But my mom likes to make, like spaces look a little more renovated, right? And so she did that in here. And so I'm loving this bathroom because it's looking a whole lot better than it was like a few years ago. So I just love this, right? And I have this art, I have this painting here that I did, and I love it. I feel like it has added something to this bathroom. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't know, I love to read. So I always feel like I must have something that I am reading in my bathroom, right? Which I guess maybe it is a bit odd to others, but it's, for me, like, it's like I cannot not have something to read in my bathroom. So currently I am reading Everything You Pretend to Know and Are Afraid Someone Will Ask. I don't know. I'm sharing that with you guys. I don't know why, but I don't know. I'm one of those girls who's like, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer you. So I don't, because some books for me, I'm like, I'm not going to read this like quickly. Right? So it's one of those things that I'm like, this is one of those books that I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to read slowly because I'm just reading it for fun. And so it's not like, it's not like when you have to read for school or when you are so into a book and you're like, I cannot wait to find out what will happen next. So this one for me is like one of those that I'm like, oh, actually, I would like to find out because there are maybe a lot of things that someone may ask me. Honestly, so far, most of the things in here, I do not anticipate like being asked, right? So it would be really odd for someone to ask me this question. And for most of them, just because of, like the people that I hang out with and the type of work that I do, I'll just go, I don't even know the answer to that question. And I don't feel bad that I do not know the answer to that question, right? So like, it's more like for an intellectual and someone who's hanging out in spaces where you are just having all these fancy words being thrown at you, which honestly, I'll still say as a woman, why not? Sometimes, I mean, I don't recommend asking people difficult questions because that is not very feminine, because like you make people feel uncomfortable, right? So you have you have to try it, unless you are genuinely curious and you don't know and you must find out that answer and you must ask that person specifically because there's no one else for you to ask. I would not. Right? So it's just one of those things. So I don't anticipate being asked these questions, but should someone ask me, I'm comfortable with just going, actually, I do not know the answer to that. Do you mind telling me the answer? All right. So it's just one of those things. But let me get to work. Less talk and more work. I bought these gloves a little while ago, and then now I'm always like, oh my God. Like, when I was buying them, I was like, ooh, what a good purchase. And they say, let's get dirty. And now, like, like some of the times I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to pull those things. But when I was buying them, I was like, ooh, what a lovely idea, right? So now I have them. So I'm like, let me go and use my Let's Get Dirty gloves. That could also just mean let's get dirty, as in we are cleaning the bathroom, so do not get any ideas. But then, anyways, it's some of those things that make sense when you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to be using them in my room, or it will just be something that's, like seen by either me or just my boo. And then you go, oh, I was just, I was just going to mop the floor, but then my brother shows up and I'm wearing this and I'm like, oh my God. So it's one of those things where when you're younger, it's like, oh, whatever, right? But as you get older, it's like, oh, yeah, how odd, how awkward, right? So it's just one of those things. Anyways, let me get to work. I have finished cleaning my sink, my toilet bowl, and my bathtub. I'm just going to, I guess I was like, oh, should I leave this garbage in here a little bit longer? But then I'm like, no, I'm just going to take it out and put in a new bag. I'm just going to take it out. And now I'm going to get to the mopping. This time I'm actually like, oh, let me get these things done as fast as possible. That's a lie. Anyways, guys, so now I'm going to go and start mopping. Finished mopping my floor and I'm so ready to get on to the next task. Or maybe, as I told you guys, I love to slack off. So maybe what is my next thing to do? I guess I could do a little bit of slacking off, because I am one of those girls that's like, I don't mind taking my time. I don't mind taking a break. I don't mind taking the time to relax if I need to. But mopping my floors this time was so much easier. And guys, honestly, if you have, like an activity that you would like me to do, well, of course, you also have to keep in mind that this is a girly channel. My vision with this channel is to just have a good time, but it's me doing my everyday things. Of course, I'm just being myself, but my vision with it is about, like, it's mainly like femininity and things like that. So you can't suggest crazy things like, oh my God, it's time for us to go mountain bike riding. I'm like, I do those activities as well, but not on this channel. I don't do that activity specifically. But I don't mind doing, like, like activities like that, but not on this channel. So you cannot suggest something like that. So you have to suggest something that is reasonable for this channel. It has to be feminine and it has to be about having fun, relaxing, and unwinding, because that's what I'm all about on this channel. OMG, so I am so excited. I am now going to show you guys the fish recipe that I talked about, and I'm so excited to make this because I've not had it for a long time. It's my friend that would always make it for me, and now I am making it for myself. My mother does make a lot of fish, like I said, so I have lots and lots of good, like fish recipes, but I'm very, very excited because this one is like a mix of my mom and my friend's recipe. And so, because I'm missing my friend, I'm excited to do this. So my fish was frozen and I had to thaw it, and then I'm now going to work on it. I'll show you the ingredients as I go, but I'm first going to start by frying the fish. And I also am going to put some eggs in the fish. So I am going to boil the eggs to start as well while I am frying the fish. That is what we're going to start with. Let me not forget, let me put my apron on. Let me put my apron on because I do not want to get the oil on my clothes. And I also do not want to get the oil all over me. So here I go. I guess this is a fun, lovely ice cream apron. But for now, I will clean the fish. And one thing about, so I'm cooking tilapia fish. And so I'm going to clean it. I'm going to remove the extra remaining scales, because generally they remove the scales. So you have to clean the inside part of the fish, like the belly. You have to get rid of all the things that are in there that is essential. Otherwise you will, I don't know. Generally it comes gutted already, but you should do that. Otherwise it's quite gross. And then if you're going to keep the gills on, you have to make sure that you wash them, okay? I know that some people take off the gills, but if you're going to leave the gills on, you have to make sure that you wash them, and wash them thoroughly. And I've cleaned the gill in there to a satisfactory point. It's looking good. And I'm going to trim that because you know what? Everyone needs to cut their hair every now and then. Oh my God. That was not, I don't know. I am so terrible at telling jokes. My brothers have always said that I should let loose a little bit more, and you know what? I feel that I have let loose more than I was before, right? But I'm not very good at telling jokes. But I feel like in general, I have let loose a little bit more. So I think I have improved in that department. Here I go. So I'm cutting the fish in threes. And then just to make it a little stylish, I'm also cutting these parts like that. I have now finished cutting and cleaning the fish, and I'm now going to fry it, and I am also going to boil the eggs at this point because I'm going to put those eggs and mix them and have them be a part of the stew. So I have 2 fishes that I'm preparing today. So I have 6 pieces of the fish, and then I have 8 eggs that I'm preparing. And yeah, and I also have some spinach, and then while I'm frying, I'm also going to be working on the other things. So I'm going to be cutting the tomatoes and the onion. Putting in garlic, I'm putting in tomatoes, and I'm also putting in onion. And I forgot one thing, I'm also putting in cilantro. I'll put in 5 of the regular fresh tomatoes, and I'm also putting crushed tomatoes because it makes the sauce thicker. So I guess you need, like some fresh tomatoes, and you also need some of the crushed tomatoes because it makes the sauce thicker. I like my garlic to be finely chopped, and I feel like that is why I have to just keep doing that so that they are finely chopped. And now I think it's at a satisfactory point. I like to cut it finely chopped. My tomatoes, when I was younger, I was so obsessed with cutting my tomatoes small too. But now I actually am fine with the tomatoes being a little bit bigger, because honestly, by the time I finish cooking them, you won't even see that they were chunks when I put them in there. And for the onions, I think that by the standards of the size of onions that most people cut, I cut mine finely chopped. Right, so they are quite small compared to the size that I see like other people cutting. Like, I think they are very, very small. I'm going to remove the shells from the eggs. Started on making the stew, and the first thing that will go in there are the onions. I'm going to put the onions inside, and then I'm going to fry them. I don't know about your stove, but mine goes from 1 to 9, right? So that is the low and then the high. And I have the heat on at like 8. right? So I have the heat on at 8. So you can turn the heat up for frying the onions, because then you are paying attention, you are supposed to be paying attention to the onions while you're cooking. So you can have the heat on high. It's actually okay for you to even go on the maximum and be on the high. You just have to pay extra attention to it. So that's going to take a little while. That's going to take a little while. A little while. You can do a little dance while you're waiting for the onions to cook. Or you can just clean up. And you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean up. So I put in the garlic, and I'm now just going to mix the onion and the garlic. The onion has to be like almost just fried to, like, you know, like almost going like a goldenish color. Although, you know, like you get more of that effect with the sweet onion rather than the purple onion. But yeah, so you just have to fry it until it's looking, you know, like, I don't know, lovely and crisp. And then the cilantro, I honestly find that you can choose whichever order you want to put it in. You either can put it in before the tomatoes or after the tomatoes. If you put it in before the tomatoes, it's going to fry. If you put it in after the tomatoes, it's not going to fry. So I'm going to put it in before the tomatoes. And then now I am going to put in the tomatoes. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, I covered the pot because I really want the tomatoes to cook very well. Okay, so I really want the tomatoes to cook very well, and I'm going to, like, you know, like mash them a little bit. I was just crushing the tomatoes, and now I am almost done with that. I am almost done with that, and afterwards I'm going to put in this. I'm going to put in the crushed tomatoes that I had. So I'm mashing this one, and then I'm also going to add this one because this sauce is thick. Right, this sauce is thick, so it adds quite a bit of, you know, like it makes the sauce a whole lot thicker, and I like that. Or at least that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be, and I also really like it. I think that is now ready to go. I am now going to put in the crushed tomatoes. culture you come from. I know that some people, for the most part, when they are cooking, they are very thorough at measuring like what they are putting into, like their pots and things like that. For me, like growing up, my mom just taught us by just, just look, here, I have 1 onion, I have 4 tomatoes, I'm going to put, like some salt, and she would just measure it by her hands. I'm just going to put in fish, right? Like, so she would not necessarily count. And then sometimes you go, oh, I don't have enough, like I don't have maybe the 8 tomatoes. Fine, I'll just use the 7. Or maybe I'll just use the 5 that I have, even though the last time that I made this with my mom, we used 8 tomatoes, right? And so that is just my style of cooking. So sometimes people go, oh, like, is it a must that the number be exact? No, it's not. But for just for today, I'll say I had 1 purple onion, I had 5 cloves of garlic, I had 5 tomatoes and 2 fishes. I have, so this is whole leaf spinach. It was previously frozen. So I have 2 square cubes of that, about, I don't know how I would measure it, but so I would say maybe a plateful, right? A regular plateful. And I also have 8 eggs, right? And those are the ingredients that I'm using to make this stew. I'm going to serve this stew with some potato wedges. You can also serve it with rice, and you can also, you can essentially serve it with almost anything, right? You can serve it with mashed potatoes, you can serve it with cornmeal, so you can serve it with buns, right? So you can serve it however you want to. I am now going to put in some salt, and the thing with salt, when I was younger, I would always try to cook meals for my dad, and I always oversalted, right? And so one of the lessons that my dad taught me is, when you put in less salt, people can always add more and they can still eat the food just fine. But when you put in too much salt, honestly, it makes the meal irreparable, right? So that means that most likely people are just going to eat that because they don't want to hurt your feelings, right? But when you put in very little salt, they can just add salt and they'll just, go, oh, wow. That was almost a 10 out of 10, but the salt was just low, right? But when you oversalt, it's like, oh my gosh, this is not even in the category of a 1, right? So you just get an E for effort. I'm going to put some hot water in the tomatoes. About 1.5 liters of water in there, and I'm probably going to add more as I go. I'm going to quickly peel my potatoes. And then now I am going to put in the spinach. when you put in the spinach, you have to make sure that you stir it all up and just have it mixed in completely so that you're not having chunks in there. And then you can now put in the fish again. What you must make sure not to do is not to just put the fish like just on top so that you're having like a whole bunch of spinach stuck at the bottom, because the fish is pretty heavy, so then the spinach will end up burning, and if especially you have like very high heat, so you have to make sure that the fish like goes in a spot that does not have a lot of spinach or a lot of tomatoes. And then last but not least, I'm going to put in the eggs. The thing with the eggs is you just have to make sure that they are submerged into the stew. So for those ones, you don't have to make sure that they're not sitting on spinach, but you just have to make sure that they are submerged into the stew. Okay guys, so one thing I have to tell you is so in terms of the salt, like the only reason that I would not try this food right now would be my concern about the fish not being cooked enough, right? But because I fried the fish ahead of time, it's okay to try this. Okay, so you can try this because I'm not concerned about eating spinach that's not very cooked, right? So my only concern would be that I don't want to eat fish that's not cooked, and seeing that this fish is cooked, then you really can try for the salt. Only thing is, the problem with trying for the salt when you have just put everything in is that maybe there's still too much water in there, right? So if you try it and you feel like there's not enough salt, you have to just add a tiny bit more, because then you have to let some of this water dry out, and then when the water dries out, there will be like quite a lot of salt in there. So you have to be careful of that, or keep that in mind. And now I am going to add salt to my potato wedges, and I'm also going to fry them. I especially know that I must be careful of putting too much salt on my potatoes, because potatoes are so, or at least like, fried potatoes are so easy to oversalt. So I'm going to put in my potatoes and have them cooking at the same time as the stew. So guys, I have now finished making my potatoes, and I cooked them on like 7. The heat was on 7, and they are looking yummy. They are, like all ready, and so I am just going to check on my stew now. Okay, looking good. So the stew is ready as well, and so I am now done. I am now finished with the cooking, and I'm going to try some of this. So here you go guys, my meal is now ready, and I am going to try some of this. It's so yummy, and there's enough salt in there because I added some salt later on. But yeah. I guess that's it for the meal, and hopefully you guys will make it, like sometime. But I really enjoyed putting this together. Mm-mm. Also, I know that it's not very ladylike to be eating in bed, but I just love to eat in bed. And I eat in bed all the time. Right? So maybe that is a habit that I can work on. But so far, I just can't stop myself from eating in bed. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god, guys. So I absolutely enjoyed putting that video together. Or like, like putting some of these things together. And now I am just sitting here and I'm like, oh, let me enjoy my meal while I edit that video. And like, like this whole experience has actually been quite lovely. I'm loving making these videos and I hope that you guys are enjoying them. And if you are, please like the video and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. And as I said, I am not sure of what direction this is headed yet, but I'm thinking I like to do quite a bit of cleaning and I like to go shopping, so I'm going to take you guys shopping as one of the experiences at some point. When that is, though, I'm not sure yet, right? So I'm just, like putting together a whole bunch of activities that I'm going to do. But for now, I am just going to stay in my room for the most part and do a little bit of cleaning around. And I really think that, like it's quite feminine to be doing all, like all this cleaning and just taking care of my space. And I encourage you to do the same as well if you are working on your feminine journey. And so now I'm just going to enjoy my yummy meal, edit my video, and I hope that I'll catch you guys on the next vlog. Or not, I really hope that I will catch you guys on the next vlog, but yeah. Like, this is so delicious. I have enjoyed it so much. Bye, guys. Bye.